This is Brett Premack, and today, August 1st, 2016, I'm 67 years old. Wow! I'm counting my blessings today, of course, on this celebration day of life, my life. Grateful for my beautiful wife, Sandy, my incredible daughter, Leela, over in Taipei, my wonderful face-to-face friends, my very cool internet friends over the web. And I'm especially grateful for the challenging work that I do. When I was 17, I had already been into jazz for 5 or 6 years. Jazz musicians were my idols. They were gods. They were just, well, I found out later they were mere mortals like me, but nevertheless, I still love them and I still love the music. And as fate would have it, I've spent a good part of my life's work, so to speak, documenting jazz musicians, both in print and the past 15 years on video. I'm very lucky to have heard so much great music, both recordings and live gigs. I know that as I think back to certain gigs, I just wish I could go back there. They're in my body though, they're in my mind. I wish I had a time machine. I would love to go back and see Coltrane and Bird and this music that's had such a fantastic impact on my life. On these kinds of days, like my birthday or maybe the start of a new year, in addition to celebration, it's a day of reflection for me. I mean, and I don't look back at my successes. I'm grateful for what I've achieved and I'm grateful for the people in my life. But I tend to look back at my mistakes, the things that I did wrong. I have made so many fucking mistakes. I mean, it's unbelievable. But this is part of the process. We learn in this life. Hopefully, we make the mistake once and that's it, although sometimes, as we know, that's not true. You have to make it several times before you fix it. I feel like I'm entering the third act of my life, although it's impossible to predict how much longer I'm going to be here. I mean, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, or it could be next Tuesday. Anything's possible. This past month, July, has been an extremely weird month. Sandy and I had a great 4th of July, and then that Tuesday, the Tuesday after 4th of July, I got a call from one of my students. I'm a adjunct professor at Pima Community College where I teach documentary filmmaking and digital video production. One of my students called me and said, "Did you see in the newspaper about the murder-suicide in Marana?" It's a town not far from Tucson where I live. I said, "No." He said, it was Darius. Now, Darius Solias was a student in my editing class last year that I got to know a bit. And I ran to the newspaper website and saw that this guy, Darius, my former student, guy in his early 20s, had come home from a wedding in Philadelphia, killed his aunt, killed his mother, and then killed himself. Now, I had spent some time with him before he and his mother went to Philadelphia. He needed a waiver to take my video production course, which I, of course, was willing to grant him. And I met with him and his mother for about an hour, probably 3 weeks before this event occurred, the second or third week in June. And of course, when I found out, I was shocked. I mean, gun violence and mental illness and all these things are floating around, bubbling to the surface. This was pretty close to home, though. Thankfully, nothing like this has ever touched my family. Now we're talking about my students, who are really important to me. I view my mission as a teacher as one of the most important things in my life, as being a parent and a husband, a father, and my work. Very important for me, the teaching that I do. So when I found out about this, I was upset in several ways. First of all, only fuels my anger at gun control, our inability to grasp what that's doing to this country. So many people, I think it's 95 people die every day from guns. And here's this kid, Darius. I don't know what was going on in his head. He suffered from some form of autism, some communications difficulties, but nothing to go, to really indicate he would do something like this. I don't know where the gun came from, if he got the gun, if his mother had a gun. I don't know why his mother would have a gun. She was from Nicaragua. They'd moved here from Texas, I think Fort Worth, Texas. So that was kind of upsetting. And then a few weeks later, another incident where all of a sudden this time I'm much more directly involved. Sandy and I took a vacation in Seattle in middle July. We spent a beautiful week up there. Seattle's a fantastic city. I love the environment up there. I love the fish. I love the people are so warm and friendly, polite. And coming from 100-degree plus temperatures in Tucson to Seattle where it's in the 70s, I mean, it's a wonderful way to escape the heat. We rented an Airbnb, a cottage by Alki Beach. Our windows overlooked the water, right across the street from the beach. It was just a beautiful spot. Sunday morning, 5 a.m., actually it was like 10 to 5, Sandy woke me up and said, there's somebody in the house or something. I was like startled, awakened. I stood up, moved from the bedroom to the hallway, and there was this guy there. He was a kid. This is like 45 seconds after being startled and being awakened. He looked like Stuttering John from the Howard Stern show. Stringy hair, spaced out kid. And as soon as I jumped out and he saw me, he was totally freaked out. I sleep naked and I didn't have a chance to get anything on. I was totally naked. I guess that freaked him out. Well, I guess he was freaked out because he didn't know we were there. I said to him, I screamed out, I said, what the fuck are you doing here? He said, I'm from the beach, man. And again, the only thing I could say was, what the fuck are you doing here? He said, well, I'm from the beach, man, and I'm just looking for a place to sleep. But I'm going to leave now. And then he split. And that was it. Thankfully, I looked around. He didn't steal anything. He wasn't of malintent. I don't think he had a weapon. Although, a slight twist of fate, we could have both been dead. I mean, easy to see how that could have happened. And of course, afterwards, after something like this happens, you go back, well, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? I mean, I should have grabbed my clothes and chased after him and had Sandy call the police. But he just left. The police came about 15 minutes later. They were very cool. Seattle, probably because of what Seattle is about. Seattle's an international city. It's a city of technology, of thinkers. And like every city, it has its problems. There's a homelessness problem there. But police were very, very cool. We talked about it. They said, yes, it was better that he just got out of there. This rarely happens here. The guy who rented us the Airbnb was really upset. Going to put another lock on the door. We only had one lock, easy to see how someone could get in. And anything can happen to anybody at any place at any time. I mean, that's just the way life is. And this past month with a student who killed his mother and his aunt and then himself. I don't know where he got the gun. And this homeless person, the spaced out kid who just broke into our beachfront cottage in the middle of the night. Shit happens, unpredictable. The only thing I know how to do, I don't have any answers. I've given up trying to find answers anymore. I just do what I do. The only thing I really knew is how to keep going. And that's what one of my mentors, Ben Hecht, once said, the great newspaper man, playwright, screenwriter, novelist, propagandist. Later in his life, he was approached by some reporters. What secrets have you discovered in this life, Mr. Hecht? He said, the only thing I know is how to keep going. And that's all I'm going to do is keep going. I can't predict the future, my own future, or what's going to happen on this planet. It's very upsetting what's going on today, but if we strip away all the technology, all the information, the truth is we still treat each other like we did in the caves. We still kill each other. We're still suspicious of strangers. I don't know if we're going to destroy ourselves. It's possible. Overpopulation, global warming. I mean, I don't know where we're headed. I'm just going to keep making movies, which I love doing, and teaching, and loving my family and my friends, and doing everything I can to help as many people as possible in these final years of my life. I don't know if that's going to be a year, a minute, some decades, whatever. I'm very grateful for your kind words on this happy day. I'm very grateful for Sandy's fried chicken and just so many things.